normal summon, which is what we just explained. It's just a regular summon. You only get one of those a turn. Pretty straightforward. You have your set, which, putting your monster face down, you only get one of those per turn. And, of course, that means it also counts as your normal summon. So keep that in mind. If you set a monster, you can't normal summon a monster. Or if you normal summon a monster, you can't set a monster. Pretty basic, yeah? Maybe not. Tribute summon. These are basically like when you sacrifice a monster to bring out a higher level monster with more stars. And that is basically like a normal summon. However, you can also bring out your higher level monsters in the set position as well. But you still have to follow the tribute requirements. Flip summon. This is when you take a monster that's set on the field, nothing's happened. Okay, I'm going to change it into attack mode. You basically flipped it up. Now, there are certain effect monsters that have flip effects, and basically when they're flipped up, you follow what it says. And then you have your special summons. You can have as many special summons as you want. They'll bring out special monsters, they'll do certain things, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I can see people are getting bored. Now, don't get scared by all of this. I will explain it as easily as I can. So, this is how the battle system works. So, I might need a couple volunteers for this. You and you. Alright, now, man in the orange shirt. I will just call you that now. I want you to strike a attacking pose. And you, sir, I want you to look like you are protecting yourself. Good. Now, here's how the battle system would work for attack versus defense. Now say he is stronger than his protection. Now go and take him out. He gets destroyed, goes to the grave, and that's that. Now, I want you to strike an attacking pose. Now, go and attack him and get knocked out. Now, since his attack was greater, he also gets sent to the grave. So if your monster is stronger than the points that are there, you can take it out. And of course, in attack versus attack, you minus the values of the 2 attack points. So yeah, that's where the math comes in. And it's kind of handy.
That's the, like, 3,000 attacks, 2,500, it would be 500 damage.
So yeah, I'll ask this question. So say he had 3,000 attack points, and he had 2,800 attack points. How much would the opponent lose?
200.
Good. Here's another one to make sure that you're all paying attention. Say he has 1,500 attack points, and he had 700 attack points. How much would the opponent lose? Come on, everybody. Good. All right. Now, we'll go to the next one. Now I want you to strike the attacking pose again, and I want you to strike the defending pose again. Now, say he's not strong enough to go through his defense. Now go and bounce back. Basically, the defending monster stays and the attacking monster stays because he's just protecting. He's not trying to go into a battle at the moment. And basically, it's like the attack versus attack. You would minus the higher level from the lower level, and it goes to the player who would be losing the points. Now, say attack versus attack. Strike an attacking pose. Now, say his attack points are weaker. Go and attack him. Knock him out. So, what this means is, he gets destroyed and you take the damage. It's pretty basic, like up here. Now, let's say both your attacking monster and your opponent's defending monster have the same point values. Now strike your poses again and just create sort of a standstill almost. Yes, so attack him and then just stand there. Nothing happens. There's no damage. Everything's the same. You go on with your merry duel. Now, let's say both you and your opponent have monsters with the same attack values. So strike attacking poses and knock each other out. Basically, the two monsters take a suicide nap and go straight to the grave, and there's no damage, because let's say 1600 here, 1600 there. What's the difference? Good. And you would take 0 points. And your opponent would take 0 points. And now, let's say he has no attack points and he has no defense points. What would happen? Well, basically nothing, because having no strength means you have no strength to destroy anything. Having no strength to protect anything means you have no strength to protect anything. It's pretty simple. Yeah, it kind of looks like that. They just fail at each other like. And of course, if they're both attacking each other, that's kind of what it is. They don't get destroyed. They just sit there laughing at each other. Like, why? And then, of course, if he's defending, well, it's just like attack versus defense, and your attack is weaker. So now, terminology. There's some important terms to keep in touch with. Thank you, gentlemen, for volunteering that. So, discarding. This means like you would discard it. You would send it straight to the grave. Sending. You send it straight to the grave. Now, I'm saying these because they'll be in the text and you'll probably look at them and go, what? So I'm there to like help out. Pay. You have a payment on certain cards. It's not like a down payment on a card, but you basically have to pay up, otherwise not going to do anything for you. So, yeah, it's mostly life points. Sometimes you pay a cost for like discarding or sending. It just depends, but that gets more complicated. But paying, it's pretty simple. Just pay whatever the life points are. If you don't have enough for the life point payment, then don't play it, because otherwise you're going to lose and laugh and cry at home and go, why? I'm broke. Like at Detour, I spent all my money at the dealer's room. My life points are now at 0. Why did I do that? And then, of course, you have another special thing that you didn't see on the map, but you can pretty much just place anywhere, which is removing from play, or what is also called banishing. It's basically where you would send cards that wouldn't exactly go to the grave, but wouldn't exactly go anywhere else. They just go out of there and go to another dimension. Yes?
Usually what I do for that, to clarify them, is I would put them sideways face up above my graveyard.
Yeah, it's kind of helpful when you're like trying to point out this is where the removed cards go. This is how they're positioned. They're much more different than anything else. Yeah. And then, of course, to finish up everything here, I'm going to give you some helpful tips. So that way you can possibly do a little better in your games, or possibly keep in mind when you're playing, so that way you can be at the top of your game. No. I don't want to show the special surprise yet. No, gotta wait. So, a big thing, very, very important, read your cards and know what they do. Because when you do that, you can figure out different strategies to have it work with other cards, and you look a little better when you're trying to actually play them in the right way. Because there are some people out there, even professionals, that do not read their cards, let alone read their opponent's cards. So it's always helpful to make sure that if you haven't seen the card ever before, always ask your opponent, can I read that for a moment? So that way you can see it. Excuse me. So that way you can see it and wonder, okay, so that's what that does. Well, that's not bad, or, oh, crap, I'm probably going to lose this now. And then, of course, it's nice when you know what they do, too, so that way you don't look like a buffoon when you're playing something and go, oh, wait, I didn't know it did that.
It's also a good idea to go back and read over your cards, even if you've been using them for a while, because I just found out yesterday something I'd always missed on Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, where you can special summon dragons from your hand as well as from the graveyard.
Yeah, again, that's also helpful too, because it always keeps you up to date with what's going on in your deck. You can find out more strategies to go with it, and you can also improve your deck through reading cards, and especially new cards that you get later on. And of course, I touched up on this with summoning and with battle as well. When in doubt, protection is your friend. So if you're doing badly, you have traps and you have monsters in your hand. Your monsters aren't strong enough to take down your opponent, set them so that way you can protect yourself. Because remember, in attack versus defense, if the defending monster is weaker, you do not take damage. So that way you can stall a little bit and prevent yourself from hitting 0. And at least come back a little bit, maybe. And then a really key thing, have fun with dueling. Because there's too many people in the world that take this way too seriously. Lighten up a little bit. It's a card game. So treat it as a game. Have fun with it. Like, oh, I'm going to attack your monster. Aha, it wasn't weaker. What? Oh, man. And also, it creates friendly relationships. You make new friends from it. You create long-lasting humor or funness of sorts. Yeah. And so now, the moment you have all been waiting for.